Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's fix a few things before I forget about them as we continue. So I have listed a few things here. So the first thing we need to do is simple, is to fix the filters functions. The filters function, rather. So there's do filter function. So do action, add filter, do filter, this one right here. So we have add filter and do filter, but on this one we left the actions instead of putting that filter there by mistake. So let's fix that. That will do just fine. So that's all we needed to do there. Okay, and before we sort that one out, let's deal with config sample file. So we have a config file here, but sometimes for some reason you may, because you will be editing this file, you may mess it up, and so it's good to have a backup of this file. So we're just gonna copy all of this and go to our Thunder's samples, create a new file and paste in there, and save this one as config wait a second, config-sample.php, like that, and save. So at least we have a copy of it there ready to replace in case we need to. Okay, so that does it for that. And then we're going to deal with database errors and then sort plugins. So with database errors, when we go to our database.php here, just like we have these here, let's add a few more. So I'm going to do public, and this one I'm going to call error because there's usually just one error at a time. So error singular will do just fine. We're going to equal that to an empty string, and then let's do another. We are using public because we want to be able to check if there's an error from the outside of the class or if it has an error. Now, instead of checking to see if this is not empty, we could just put a property called has error, like that, and then we'll put a value of false to start with. Okay, so we have that, has error is equal to false. Now we can grab these guys and actually use them here. So before we run a query here, we will set these guys to 0, so, or to emptiness. So let's paste that here, and let me change this public to this. In fact, let me just delete like that and put this like so. Okay, so we make sure we reset them, because what will happen is once we set them here, as long as the object is active, then they are set. But every time we run a query, we should reset these guys so that we don't accidentally think our query had an error when it didn't. So I will copy this again. Now over here where we are doing the connection is running under a try catch error here. So what we can do is the rest of this could also run inside a try catch. So let's do this. Like that. Okay. So here we'll put PDO exception, blah blah blah. But I just want to put those guys here before I forget. Here there will be a variable e. The type of class will be PDO exception, like so. Okay, all right. So we have PDO exception e there. All right, so in this case, we're going to use the message. So just like we have get message here, for as long as it's not an error that maybe we should do this as well here instead of failing completely. So you can make the choice here. If you want things to still go ahead once the database has failed, you can do what I'm going to do here, just like at the top there. So here we'll put that message here instead. So get message, and then we'll change that to true. Okay, like so. So that's instead of, now here, I see. I think we can let this run up to the end. That should be fine. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll move all of this stuff here in the middle. Let's move it into the try section, like so. All right. Okay. So try catch. Yeah, that seems about right. So we could do exactly the same thing here as well, where if we could not connect to the database, it shouldn't result in a fatal error, as it does here, where failed to connect to database with error. Though I do prefer that it just completely cuts if you're not connected to the database, because the database is a central part of the site. So it would be good to just completely not run at all. So maybe this part we can leave as it is, but here we can get errors from queries and stuff, so it may not be so critical that we exit the entire website, right? Okay, so we leave those there. I think that does it. Let me come back to here. Now, sort plugins here is like this. Where we have plugins in the config file here, if you notice, we have this part that says index. So the index here is 1. This is just something to use to order the plugins, because as it is now, the order of the plugins, when these plugins are loaded, so let's find the function where we do this. Where is this? Plugin path. Wait a minute, what's going on? There should be a load plugin something. Okay, let me use the search, right? Plugin path. Wait, how is this possible? Okay, so show plugins, get plugin folders. Okay, so there we go. We get plugin. Okay, load plugins. There it is. Okay, so when we get to this point, you see, we are grabbing these plugins using, shouldn't we use glob? Where is that? How am I getting these? If object, JSON. Okay, so we grabbed folders from somewhere else. Okay, the point is the folders are grabbed in using scandir here. So they'll probably be listed in the order of, in alphabetical order or something like that, or maybe order of appearance in the folder. So we need to be able to change that order, because sometimes you find that you want the basic auth plugin to run first all the time, because this is what decides what kind of access a user has on a particular page. So you don't want another plugin that starts with A to run first, and then you try to authenticate the user. That wouldn't be nice. So it would be good to have an order of loading these, and that's what index is for. Okay, so we need to respect index here. So how do we do that? So at some point here, we're supposed to make sure, before we even check for valid route here, even right here, let's see, there's a part where we check to see if the JSON active is true. So we are respecting the active part here, and that's great. But before that, we should make sure that even before we do this, maybe let's do it right about here. If fire exists, I think maybe here. So I want to make sure that the index exists. So I will put this here and say index, not index file, but index is equal to index. If it does not exist, let's add it there and put a 0 as the index, or maybe a 1. I don't know what you would prefer as default value, so it could be a 0 or a 1. Maybe let's start with 1 like that. So we put it at index 1. And what else do we need here? Just a second. So we are obeying that, and that, I think that actually works. Okay, so what we want to do is make sure we use this index to sort things out, because whenever this is added, we are sure that the index exists. So somewhere here, let me grab this. Before we load these guys, it would be a good idea to actually sort this. So we're going to do this. We're going to say app plugins is equal to, then I'm going to create a function called sort plugins and paste it there, paste that one there, like so. So we supply the existing array, and then we get a different version that is ordered as we need it. So let's grab that, come down here, let's create a function of sort plugins, and then here we'll say plugins. So here we're expecting an array of sorts. Wait a minute, plugins, yeah, that's an array of objects. Yes, it is. All right, so this will return another array here, like that, and array plugins. Yeah, I think that works. So let's do return. Okay, so far so good, nothing changes, but let's do this. Let's create something, two separate arrays. So we'll say to sort, and we'll say sorted, something like that. So I want to now loop through that array of plugins, and really the only thing I need from here is the index itself, because I know index does exist in here. So to sort, I'm going to add to it like that, and I will put a key, that key, and this one is an object, obviously. So I'll grab whatever object that is, but just grab the index part only, like that. Okay, so I'm simply creating an array here. There are probably faster ways to do this, but I'm looping through to create an array, putting a key here, and then this way I know which key I'm talking about, and then we put just the index there. Now the reason I'm doing this is it's easier to, I can just sort this array here. It would be harder to do that than to sort an array that just has numbers in there. So that's much easier. So all we need to do is just do a sort like that, and we sort the to sort array like so, something like this. So at this point, what I want to do is just echo some of this. So let's see if anything has changed. So we'll say plugins over here. Now I'm going to go into these guys and just put some different index values here. So this one I will put number 4. Let's save that. Let me go to this one and I'll leave it at 1, and this one I'll put 3, so that we see how it sorts them out. Okay, all right, so even though the names are the same, so I don't know if it will show that difference at all. Then let's do the DD here to sort. So we are checking what we are given and then see what has the result of the sorting down here, if that makes any to see if that makes any sense. Though these are two different arrays, because this one just contains the indices, that one contains everything. So we have to circle back there and finish that. Okay, so this is what we get. So there's a plugin here with an index 4, that's the one that starts, and then there is one with an index 1, and there's another with an index 3. But as you can see from here, we have this sorted. So the output here has been sorted. We have 1, 3, and 4. Those are the normal indices. And you can see the actual key, the original key. So 0 is actually index 4, which is true, because if you see that key 0 is of index 4 over here. So which means this one should come last, and as it does over here. So now what we want to do is replace the original this original array and sort things out in this manner. So we can grab the sorted version and just loop through it and just grab this key, okay, and then grab that item from there, because the first one should be 1, so this one should come first. So let's do a loop to fix that. So looping to sort key value. We don't really need the value, we just need the key. So now we can do sorted. Let's add them back one by one. So let me check here. Where is the key? Yeah, so we use that key to grab the items. So sorted, the first item there is going to be equal to plugins, and then we put that particular key like that. I think that sorts the problem out. Okay, sorted. Great. Alright. And instead we're going to return sorted. So here I just want to see what's inside sorted, just to confirm that the order is right. So I'll remove that because I already know what it has, and refresh. So let's see what is the correct order now. So as you can see, this one is index 1, this one is index 3, and this one is index 4. So the sorting has worked. Alrighty then. Let's remove unneeded code. Okay, good. Yeah, so that finishes this part here. So we are done with our edits here. Let me close these. All right, so with that in mind, we can continue with our Thunder PHP here. So this is the file inside Thunder folder There it is, Thunder PHP. So definitely we've added something for make plugin, but let's add some more stuff here. So we will need another function here. So this one will be a public function, and this one will be migrate, like so. And of course we're going to receive argv just like we do here, and let's receive these guys as well, exactly the same. I'll put that here, and let's do array argv args. Wait a minute. Okay, that's args there. So this is going to work for if action is equal to either migrate or action is equal to migrate rollback, like that. Okay, so then we'll have more else statements here, but this is the part that we need. And that was just to keep this in mind so that I don't forget to do this part. But what we're interested now is to make a model or a migration file. Let's start with the migration file here. So just like we have this part that checks for if folder exists, let's copy that. We'll paste this here. So if the folder does not exist, we're going to say plugin folder not found. Okay, and then it's true that we should exit, so that's fine. Now if that folder exists, we should now create a migrations folder and check if it exists. So say migrations folder is equal to folder and then slash migrations. Let's put another slash there. So if this one does not exist, we need to create it. So we'll ask the question again, if not exist, migration folder, then we're going to mkdir, and then the path is the migration folder, and what else? We give ourselves permission, recursive creation. Okay, so at this point we know the folder exists, so we want to create the file name. Okay, now the user is going to provide a class name there that we're going to be dealing with. So maybe it's a users table or users or something. That's what we're going to get here. So class name, let's do this, is equal to, now we're going to use a regular expression to format this. Now we need a sample here, of course, the migration file sample. So maybe let's grab that first. So I'm going to call it file sample is equal to, so we put that in the migrations folder, and then here we have to put the current date and time and so on of that migration, just so we know when we created it. At the top here I forgot to grab this as well. This part is important, so let me grab that. Let's come down here. Okay, so original folder is equal to folder, then folder. I keep this just in case I need to use it in the end for some other stuff. Maybe I need to run another function. I can pass that as a one of the inputs, or one of the, what do you call these, params there, the arguments. So folder plugins, that's a plugins folder, make sure that for the plugin folder exists. Yes, okay, that's great. And migration folder, migrations. Now folder has the plugin folder comes with a slash at the end, so let me remove this. Okay, so now we need a sample file. Now the sample file is inside app actually, so that's app slash thunder slash samples slash migration sample dot php, like that. Okay, so if the file does not exist, we should exit as well. So copy that and let me paste it here. So file sample. So if that does not exist, you can say sample migration file not found. Not found in. Sometimes it's good to give more information on where it was trying to find that sample file. So I'll copy that and paste there. That way you can easily fix that in case you forget. Okay, so we check if there's a sample file and migration folder, blah blah blah. Okay, good. So if the sample file exists, let's deal with the class name. So the class name will be here. Now it's very possible that somebody may not type that class name, so we'll say if empty class name. If it does not exist, then we die again. We just say please provide a class name, something like that. Let's say please provide a valid file name or class name. Okay, something like this. Let's remove that for your migration file or something like that. Okay, so we exit there. If things went well, we continue. So at this point we have everything. We have the file sample, we have the class name, but let's clean up the class name because users can put weird things there. So let's use preg replace. So preg replace because we can use regular expressions. And what we really want, let's put what we want here. A to Z, small letter or capital A to capital Z is fine. An underscore is fine. And a dash. But the dash usually means something totally different in here. So we'll escape it by putting a slash like that. So that's slash this. So everything from a dash to underscore to alphabetical letters and stuff is allowed. Everything else isn't. So what we'll do is we'll put a caret right in there like so to say anything that isn't this should be replaced. So that, and then replace with emptiness in the class name. Okay, there we go. So, and then class name. In case we do get, let's do a string replace here because that's simpler. String replace. We're going to replace the dash with an underscore like that. Okay. Subject is class name. And then finally, it's always good when the class name is capitalized. So we'll say UC first. Class name. Alright, so we have a class name there. We also need a table name, so I'll explain why we need that. This one is simple. We just convert to lowercase, string to lower, and then the class name. So of course the migration file should know the table name that we are dealing with. And then once we are done with this, we just need to make a copy now. And I want to get the contents I'll call it content, I guess. Content is equal to file get contents, and we're getting those contents from the file sample. So we grab the file sample. We haven't created that migration sample yet, but we grab that stuff and then we replace some stuff from there. So we're going to do a simple string replace. I think we don't need to use regex here. So the string will look something like this. So first of all, we replace table name like that. So let's replace that with the actual table name like so, and then the subject is the content like that. And then let's do one more file replace. I'm going to duplicate this. We're going to have class name as well, and let's replace that with class name like this. Okay, and once we do that, then we can copy the file. No, actually we can do file put contents now. So file put contents, destination, where are we? Okay, so we will create a file name, and then the data is the content. We'll put that here like so. Okay, and then we can now put a message that things are done. So migration file created, file name, we'll do this and put concatenate the file name, right? Let's put that there, so that at least maybe we need to copy that. That's fine, we know what to do. Okay, so we put contents, but I think this actually does it. So now in order to test this, we will need that sample file. So I'm gonna go here to create that sample file. So samples, new, let's put PHP tags, and let's save. This one will be migration sample.php. All right, great. So most of this stuff will be the same as, let's say, oh, actually we don't have any form of classes here. Okay, so just grab, we need namespaces first of all. So I will grab this. Let me paste that there, and let me close this. So this one will have a class name, so the class name will be here. So let's just put class name over here as a placeholder, and this extends migration like that. So this one is, we'll grab that and put it here as well. And we don't need database, we need use. They're all in the migration namespace, so I don't think we need any of this. What we really need is that this. It seems I didn't put this in some of these, so let's just do that real quick. Right, so boom, 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 boom. Okay, good. So in the migration sample, we will do the same thing here. So direct script access denied. Okay, so with this, no, actually root is not a thing here. What am I doing? What am I doing? It's FC path that we should worry about, because this will only work in the command line. Okay, so there we go. Let's remove pager. There's the sample and FC path here as well. Okay, good. So we have this, and in here we need two functions. So public function up, and there's going to be public function down as well. So public function down like that. So those are the two functions that will be here when we run. Oh wait, yes, this is the sample. Okay, great. So here we run two different, there's this create table, like that, and then there will be one drop table. And I think I actually named it drop without the table, so my apologies. Let me go back to migration, and there's that function somewhere here. It's called drop. Let's just put table there, like so, just for consistency. Create table, drop table. And then here we put the table name. So just like we have class name here, we will need that table name here when creating it. So let's change that to table underscore name, like this. Okay, so these will be replaced with actual table names. Wait. Yes. Yep, that should do the trick. And here, we're going to have something like this, add column, and then we'll put the most obvious one like int primary key. Let's not put primary key here, let's just put auto increment, like that. Okay, so it's an int, probably unsigned, and like that, and maybe the default value could be 0. Anyway, for a primary key with auto increment, that's not necessary, so let's do that. So we add those common columns that we anticipate, so ID, and then there's deleted, which could be tiny int of length 1 and unsigned, and default 0. Okay, so then we can have date created, like that, and this one is date time, and default could be no, like that. Okay, so with date created here, I can duplicate this a few times to change to date updated and date deleted. Okay, then we can have at least one variable character column here, so I'm just going to call it column 1, and this is var char of maybe 255, and just to give an example of what's possible here, and the default could be no, like that, it's nullable. Column 2 could be text, like that, nullable. Okay, so this just gives us a wide variety of what we're looking for, and then we'll do this, add primary key, and that one is ID, like that, and then we'll do add key. So let's remove primary from these guys. So we add key, for example, deleted, date created, and I think that should be it. The others updated, deleted, maybe date deleted as well. So this is just to reduce how much code you have to put, because the sample actually gives you the basics, and then finally you create your table. You can also add data here to seed something here, but we can show how that is done here. Oh, wait a minute. Anyway, we can update the sample a little later, but for now, this is all we need. This is the sample right here. Okay, then you can put commented out stuff to give the user some ideas of what is possible as well. That's up to you. All right, so with that in mind, we should have everything we need to be able to run this. So make migration, and then a migration file. Oh, we need the file name. Sorry about that, I forgot. So let's create the file name. So file name is equal to, so here we're going to get the date file name is equal to folder. Is it? Yes, that's the folder. No. Migration folder. Okay, that's the one we want. So once we have that folder, then we need a file name there. The folder has a slash at the end, so we don't need to provide that. So the name will consist of a date format. So we'll say year, month, day, and then let's put an underscore to avoid spaces. Then we'll have hours, minutes, and seconds all smashed together, and then an underscore. That way, at least if we create a migration with the same name, the next second, then it will give it a different file name. So with that underscore there, we can then concatenate. Actually, let me just do this here. Yeah, I could put it anywhere really, so that's fine. And then I concatenate the table name. So table name, and then add .php to that, like so. Okay, so there's a dot there and a dot there, so that's our file name. Okay, yeah, let's try and test this, shall we? So I'm gonna do cmd to get to my my command line, and then I will open folder and grab the link to that folder. Then let's navigate there. Let's clear the screen and let's do PHP Thunder, and then we're going to say make migration. Okay, so let's test this out, what we get. Okay, so there's a syntax error, an expected variable this on line 137 in thunder.php. So let's check that out. 137 right here. So if empty, so there's a missing bracket over here. What else? I think that should do. Let's try and run this again. Okay, please provide a valid class name for your migration file. Okay, thank you. I will say users, make migration users for users table. So I'll say enter. Plugin folder not found. Okay, great. So I need to provide a folder as well. Yeah, so many params that need. So make migration. Which folder should we make this? Let's try inside basic auth like that, and then give us a table name like users, for example, and then press enter. So migration file created. The file name is in here. So plugin. Oh, okay. So basic auth, this is not right. We should have a slash here. I guess we didn't have that slash. So things, I guess, did not go as planned, because the migration folder, I'm sure, has been added here, basic auth migration. And then there's a file over here, and this is what it has. But as you can see, it has replaced those placeholders with actual names here. And okay, so that's one thing we should remember. We need the quotes around these guys. That's the only missing thing there. Okay, so let's fix these things. So I'm going to close this, delete this folder. So it means the folder here, original folder, and then folder, plugins, folder. We should probably put a / at the end like that, just to fix that issue. Okay, let's see if that doesn't destroy anything. I think that works just fine, because we were assuming that's there. And also, if we go to this sample, we should put single quotes around this and around that, like so. Okay, great. So you could put some comments here just to remind the user that there is more you can do. Let me do this. Okay. So we can put something like add key, or add wait, what are the others? So you can go to migration here and find these functions here. There's add column, add key, add primary key, add data, drop data. Wait a second. Oh, okay. So we don't have unique and full text. Right. My bad. Sorry about that, guys. So what we're gonna do is duplicate this primary key because it's just the same stuff here. And instead here we'll put unique key, add full text key. Yeah, this we can just consider it a key. Let's do small letter like that. Okay, and let's do that same thing here, and let's put that here as well. Okay, so instead of primary keys, this one is unique, and this one is full text. Yeah, is that it? Full text keys? Yes. Okay, good. So those functions did not exist. Alright, so add full text key. Those are possible. You can do this. Add full text key, column 2 or something like that if you need to. And let's put one for unique key here as well. Just as a reminder that you can do this. Like that. More keys, something like that. Okay, so that's just to remind the user that you can do this. Also, you can tell them that you can actually add data to seed data. This is what we do. I'm gonna say this add data. Okay, and then finally we say this insert, and then we put the table name here. So table name, we're just gonna grab this over here and paste it there, because then it can also be replaced. And let me close this like so. All right. Okay, to seed data, let's go back to the same migration thing. We'll say add data. Now with add data we have a string here. Now this could be, we should actually change how this works, because data. So instead of a string here, we need an array instead. And let me go up here to data. So an array of arrays. Insert is here. So we are looping through here. If empty and if not empty and is array data, then we loop through, and then okay. So everything else is great. This should have been an array there. So in order to add data, this is what you would do. Something like that. And then you would say maybe something like email. Let's duplicate a few times. Say username. So these are just examples, and email, and then maybe what else would be? Gender, something like that. Okay, so these are just samples. This is how you would seed data. Let's say it's in the users table, for example. Okay, so that is good enough. So let's try this again, right? So I'm just gonna click repeat, press enter. So that file was created, and I think things went well, because this is plugins, basic auth, migrations, and then there's a migration file there. So let's see what we've got. So if we go to basic auth, there's a migrations folder now, and there it is. And it has replaced the correct name that we added here, even here, and even there, and even there. Alrighty guys, so that's how you create migrations file. Now in the next video we'll look at how we can actually run those migration files using this migrate thing here, migrate function here. So this is going to be running those files that we created using the make migration system. Alright, so I'll see you in the next video.